こんにちは、ジャパニーズアーモンのミサです。Hey guys, today I'm going to teach you how to say everything and all in Japanese. So when you look up the word everything in the dictionary, you might get the word subete in Japanese, subete. And it does mean everything, but this word is mainly used in written language. So when you are writing essays, this word would be perfect. And when you read articles or newspaper, you will encounter this word a lot, subete. But it's mainly used in formal speech. So when you're talking to your friends, either speaking to them in person or texting to them, it's more common to use the word zenbu, okay? So, and even when you're writing a post on Facebook or Instagram or you're tweeting something, it's probably better to use the word zenbu because using the word subete makes it sound quite formal. For example, I ate everything. You can say 全部食べた informally. 全部食べた. And here, if you say すべて食べた, it doesn't sound natural. You could use this sentence if you're writing a novel, for example. But when speaking, it's really better to say 全部食べた or 全部食べました. So here, 食べました is in the must form, which means it's the formal speech, right? So you can even use 全部 when speaking formally. So remember that すべて is generally used in written language, okay? And use 全部 when just speaking. So the word すべて is usually used in quotes or novels. You will also probably hear すべて in anime if the character is trying to sound super poetic or narrating the story, or the character is trying to sound cool or serious, they might use the word すべて. But in real life, it's, more natural to just use the word 全部. So I will tell you some common example sentences where すべて is used. For example, this quote is very famous. Everyone has heard this phrase once. 世の中、金がすべて。世の中、金がすべて. It means in this world, money is everything. It's a little sad, but you would definitely hear this or see this somewhere. 世の中 can mean this world or this society. So in this world, in this society, 金 money, がすべて is everything. You can replace 金 with something else. You might hear 世の中、愛がすべて. Love is everything. 世の中、力がすべて. Power is everything. So when you're speaking to your friends, you can quote this sentence, right? 世の中、金がすべて. And it will sound funny because it's like you're quoting some famous saying that everyone has heard of. Another example, you might hear this in anime or drama. すべてが無駄だったわけじゃない。or すべてが無駄になったわけじゃない。Not everything is in vain. So すべて everything. 無駄 is like a waste. 無駄だった was in vain. わけじゃない. I have a lesson on this, but it means it's not that or it doesn't mean that. So it's not that everything is in vain. Okay, now let's see how we can use 全部. So do you remember the sentence I ate everything? 全部食べた. Formally, you can say 全部食べました. 全部 食べました。So, 全部 is a noun, but also an adverb. So, if you use the word 全部 as a noun, you technically need to put the o particle, right? So, you say 全部を食べました, but this is not very natural. So, Japanese people use this word 全部 as an adverb more often, which means you don't need to put any particle after the word 全部. So you don't say 全部を, but 全部 and then put the verb. So I ate everything, you just say 全部食べた. So when you want to say I ate everything, I saw everything, I heard everything, generally you can just say 全部 and then put the verb at the end. So 全部見た、全部見ました。I saw everything. 全部聞こえた。全部聞こえました。I heard everything. Or to buy everything, you can say 全部買う。I want to buy everything. I want to buy all of them. You can say 全部買いたい。or 全部買いたいです。So that's pretty easy, right? But after all, we're learning Japanese. It's not going to be that easy. Now, when you want to say, I ate all the, for example, I ate all the ice cream. Here in Japanese, we would say, アイスクリームを全部食べた。or アイスクリームを全部食べました。So the word order might confuse you. So without the word all the everything, you just say アイスクリームを食べた。Right? I ate the ice cream. アイスクリームを食べた。And then when you say I ate all the ice cream, you add 全部 in front of the verb. So remember, 全部 can be used as an adverb. Adverbs are usually placed in front of verbs in Japanese. In English, you put it after the verb. Like, I walk slowly. Slowly, this is the adverb. And to walk is the verb. And you put the adverb after the verb. In Japanese, this sentence would be ゆっくり歩く. And ゆっくり is the adverb slowly. And 歩く is the verb to walk. So this might sound weird, but we put the verb 全部 in front of the verb 食べる. So this is a very common sentence construction. Noun を全部 verb. So I saw all the Disney films, for example. Here you say Disney films を全部 so watched. Okay, so you say ディズニーの映画を全部見た。or ディズニーの映画を全部見ました。or I listened to all Joe Hisaishi's music. You can say 久石譲の曲を全部聞いた。or 聞きました。formally. In Japanese, we say the last name first, right? The surname, then the first name. So, 久石譲の曲 is music. The word 曲 is usually used for like instrumental music, whilst 歌 is used for songs, so somebody has to sing it. Anyway, 久石譲の曲を全部聞いた. So you put 全部 in front of the verb 聞く listen. More example, I drank all the wine. ワインを全部飲んだ。ワインを全部飲みました。And I've seen a lot of students write すべてのワインを飲んだ instead. So すべてのワインを飲んだsounds more like I drank every kind of wine existed in this world. So it doesn't sound like I drank all the wine, like all the wine in this glass or in the bottle or the wine that I had on the table. If that's what you mean, I drank all the wine that was on my table, then you should definitely say ワインを全部飲んだ or ワインを全部飲みました。If you say すべての noun, it sounds like every kind of and it doesn't even sound natural anyway. Anyway, back to the sentence. I ate all the For example, I ate all the pizza. I ate the whole pizza. You can say ピザを全部食べた. Or if you want to add the nuance, oops, I ate the whole pizza. Or like, I ate the whole pizza and now I regret that. You can say ピザを全部食べちゃった. So again, you have a lesson on this ちゃったてしまう. But when you regret your own action, you can say ちゃった at the end of the sentence. You can say ちゃった。ピザを全部食べちゃった。And when speaking informally or casually, you usually omit the particle を the object marker. So instead of ピザを全部食べた, you can just say ピザ全部食べた or ピザ全部食べちゃった. So when you want to say, can I finish this? Can I eat all of this thing? You can say これ全部食べてもいい? これ全部食べてもいい? So here the O particle is omitted. It's actually これを全部食べてもいい? てもいい means may I, can I? これを全部食べてもいい? But when speaking informally, you can omit the O particle. So most Japanese people would say これ全部食べてもいい? これ全部食べてもいい? Next, how would you say I spent all my money? So, money, you can say お金. And then to spend, we use the same verb to use. 使う. Okay, so to spend money, you can say お金を使う. But now try making the sentence. I spent all my money. So, お金を全部使った. Or omit the O particle if you want to sound more natural and casual. お金全部使った. But this sounds like you are not regretting the action. So it's like, hey, I spent all my money. And it's just like stating a fact. But if you want to sound more natural, be more emotional, and sound like, I spent all my money, why did I do that? Then you'd say, お金全部使っちゃった. お金全部使っちゃった. Alright, now let's learn how to use 全部 with adjectives. So when you want to say everything cute, everything cheap, for example, you want to say everything delicious, right? Like I want to eat everything delicious, all the delicious things, all the delicious food. Here, unfortunately, you can't just say おいしい全部. Nope. We would say おいしいもの全部. Okay, so we would have to add the word もの things. So for example, if you want to say, I want to eat everything delicious, you'd say, おいしいもの全部食べたい. Okay, you can't say, おいしい全部食べたい. Nope, you have to say, おいしいもの全部食べたい. Or you want to say, everything red. So, I buy everything red. I buy all the red objects. Then here, again, you can't just say 赤い全部. But you have to say 赤いもの全部。Okay? 赤いもの全部買う。Oh, everything pink. I would say ピンクのもの全部。So the word pink is not an adjective or non-adjective, but it's a noun, pink. So to connect it with another noun, you have to use the no particle. Again, have a listen on this. But basically, you say ピンクの something to mean pink. Something like pink clothes, you say ピンクの服. Okay? Not ピンクな服。ピンクの服。ピンクの壁。Pink wall. Everything pink. All the pink things. ピンクのもの全部。So everything pink is cute. ピンクのものは全部かわいい。Yeah, so if you want to say everything and then adjective, you say adjective, もの、全部。So you gotta add the word もの, thing, object, after the adjective. And the following example sentence, I want to forget everything bad, everything unpleasant. You'd say 嫌なこと全部忘れたい。嫌なこと全部忘れたい。So, I didn't say 嫌なもの, but I said 嫌なこと. So, I've already talked about this in different videos, but there are two ways to say things in Japanese. もの and こと. もの is used to talk about objects, like tangible things, like things you can touch. So like food is もの, a car is もの. But if you're talking about a thing that you do, so like actions or things you remember, so like again actions, but like memory, right? Or things you said, so it's not something you can touch, or things you said, then you'd use the word こと. So if the thing is an action, you'd use こと. So when you want to forget everything, that thing is not really tangible, right? You want to lose some memory, right? Memory is not something you can touch. So we would use the word こと. Anyway, 嫌なこと is bad things, unpleasant things. 全部忘れたい. So all of that bad things, I want to forget. So that's how we connect 全部 with an adjective, right? Adjective もの全部 or adjective こと全部. Now we do the same when you want to say everything I did, everything you saw. You want to connect everything with the clause that contains a verb. So for example, everything I made is gone, for example. Then you'd say 作ったもの全部 to mean everything I made. Okay. 作ったもの全部. Again, you cannot say 作った全部 to mean everything I made. You have to say 作ったもの全部. For example, なくなった is gone, is to go missing or to disappear. Another example, eat everything you ordered. Your kid orders a lot of things at the restaurant and you want to say, if you're going to order that many things, you better eat everything you order. So, in this sentence, you say the verb to order in the past tense, and then もの, and then 全部, eat. So, you can say 注文したものは全部食べてね. Eat, okay? 食べて, like, please eat, ね, okay? So, 注文した is ordered. 注文したもの things you ordered. は the wa particle is to put emphasis on what we are talking about. 注文したものは全部食べてね。Or we can omit the wa particle as well and say 注文したもの全部食べてね。注文したもの全部食べてね。Okay, see? Verb もの全部。Right. We can also say verb こと全部 as well. If you're talking about everything you did, remember, for example, I regret everything I did. Here, you want to say everything I did. And this thing is an action, right? I probably regretting the actions. So, したこと全部後悔してる。後悔してる is I regret. したこと全部後悔してる。Or if you want to be more specific, everything I did yesterday. Then you say 昨日したこと全部後悔してる。昨日したこと全部後悔してる。Another example with こと everything you hear. So something you hear, like stories, rumors, you can't touch them, right? Untangible things. So you'd say 聞いたこと全部 to mean everything you listened to or everything you heard. For example, don't believe everything you hear. You can say 聞いたこと全部信じないで。聞いたこと全部信じないで。Okay, we are not done yet. Now let's talk about how to say all the time or all my time. For example, I spend all my time studying. Here, you don't really use the word 全部 or すべて, but you can use the word ずっと, which means all the time. So, ずっと勉強している。ずっと勉強している means I'm studying all the time. Or you can use てばかりいる。てばかりいる。Have a listen on this. I believe it's JLPTN5 level. You use the te form, so you say what you do in the te form. So to study, then 勉強して and then ばかりいる. And that means I do nothing but study, or I spend all my time doing something. I spend all my time studying. So 勉強してばかりいる means I do nothing but study. So this sounds like you are not happy that you spent all your time studying there. So remember that てばかりいる can have a slightly negative connotation. So this てばかりいる is often used to complain about somebody doing something like, my kids are doing nothing but playing video games. Then, parents would often say, 子供はゲームしてばかりいる。ゲームしてばかりいる。Or you can complain about yourself, right? Like, I do nothing but study and I don't like that. I know it's not like fun, but I have to. And you can say 勉強してばかりいる. But if you don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, you can just say ずっと勉強してる。ずっと勉強してる。Or use another word 一日中 all day long 一日中勉強している. So yeah, using words like ずっと or the grown point てばかりいる sound more natural than saying すべての時間, which you might see in novels or in books, essays, but not very natural when you are like speaking to your friends or just like leaving comments or, tweeting. Okay, to the next point. This is probably the most difficult part. So if you want to say, I read all the Harry Potter books, you can say, ハリー・ポッターを全部読んだ. Okay? This is the easiest way to say, I read all the Harry Potter books. But you will also hear, ハリー・ポッターを全冊読んだ. ハリー・ポッターを全冊読んだ. So instead of 全部, I said 全冊. And that means every book or every volume. So this 全 can be attached to a counter in Japanese. So 冊 is how we count books, like 一冊, 二冊, 三冊. If you say 全冊, it means all the books. So I just want you to know that that's also an option because you will definitely see that 全冊. Okay? When you're talking about manga, you will hear 全巻, 全巻. When we count manga, we usually say 一巻, 二巻, 三巻. Although you can also say 一冊, 二冊, 三冊. A lot of manga publishers would prefer using this 巻 as a volume. So I have every volume of Naruto. So I can say, ナルト全部持ってる. But I'd actually prefer to say, ナルト全巻持ってる. ナルト全巻持ってる. Because if I say ナルト全部持ってる, Naruto has become such a big franchise. It's also an anime, and also, if I say Naruto zenbu motte, it sounds like I have everything of Naruto, which is not true. I don't have like every merch ever. Like I don't have every figurine. So if I want to specify that it's like every volume of manga, then I have to say 全巻. Okay, 全巻. And if you want to say you watched every episode of Naruto, then again, you could say ナルト全部見た. And the verb 見た makes it obvious that you're talking about something you watched. But it could include some films, right? And maybe you've missed some films. You just watched the anime series and not the films. Then you want to actually use 全話. 全話. So 話 is the counter for episodes. So 1話, 2話, 3話. So 1 episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes. So you want to say ナルト全話見た. If you want to say, I watched every episode of Naruto. So yeah, at least remember this sentence. I watched every episode of the anime title 全話見た. So, 鬼滅の刃全話見た. 鬼滅の刃を全話見ました. ワンピースを全話見た. If you did, congratulations. I respect your dedication. 2 more words. 全席. 全席. You definitely hear this word or see this word if you go to a restaurant in Japan. 全席 means every seat. You'll most likely see this sign at the door. 全席禁煙です. 全席禁煙です. So literally every seat, 禁 is prohibited, and this kanji means smoking. So no smoking. So there is no smoking table. Another one is 全品. 全品, every product. This one you can probably see even on websites, so online shopping. You'd see 全品 50% off. That's a really good deal. So maybe 全品 15% off. That's very common. 15% off every product. They could say すべて 15% off or 全部 15% off. But they can also choose to say 全品 15% off. Hooray! I think we've learned so much. But one last thing. We don't really say, is everything okay? So I've seen some students write すべて大丈夫ですか? or 全部大丈夫ですか? to mean, is everything okay? But this sounds very unnatural. Japanese people don't really say 全部 or すべて when talking about, being okay or not. So Japanese people would usually just say 大丈夫? Is it okay? Are you okay? So you don't say 全部. If you insist that you have to ask about several things, then you can say いろいろ大丈夫. いろいろ大丈夫. So you know that a lot is going on with somebody's life. You can say いろいろ, various things or several things. And one last thing, I'm sorry, this video is getting so long. 全部 can be used as everything, right? And they cannot be used as everyone. So if you want to say like all the people, everyone, like every girl, every boy, you have to use another word. みんな, みんな. For example, everyone is kind. みんな優しい. みんな優しい. For example, everyone in my classroom is kind. You can say クラスのみんなは優しい. Or all my colleagues are nice. 同僚はみんな優しい. 同僚はみんな優しい. So here みんな can be used as an adverb just like 全部. So 同僚はみんな優しい. I should just make this into another video, but a lot of Japanese learners make this mistake of saying みんなさん. So you will often hear みなさん, みなさん, everyone. For example, when you will say hello everyone, you can say みなさんこんにちは. Okay, this is a very common thing you will hear. みなさんこんにちは. When you add this san, right, to make it formal, this between me and na disappears. We don't say みんなさん, we say みなさん. Okay, so that's one thing. It's one of the most common mistakes I've ever seen. But when speaking informally, make sure to add this so don't say みな, because that word does exist too, みな, but that makes you sound like a samurai or something. Like it's like a Shakespeare speech, saying the, thy. You wanna say みんな, 'cause みな, like it sounds like you're shogun or something. So yeah, みんな. So either みんな or みなさん. And one last thing about this みんな. みんな is mainly used about people. Okay, so like everyone or every person. But it could also be used like 全部. So it can be used about objects as well. But this is not very correct, and probably a teacher would correct you as well. So for example, I want everything. Like you're in a shop and you want to say, oh, I want everything. You can say 全部欲しい. 全部欲しい. But technically, you can say みんな欲しい. みんな欲しい. But this is confusing because みんな usually means everyone. みんな欲しい could even be mistranslated as everyone wants it. Okay, so even Japanese people would think like, what does she mean? Like, does she mean she wants everything or everyone wants this thing? Just telling you this because you might encounter a sentence where みんな doesn't mean everyone, but everything. So just know that although it's not very common, it's possible. For example, everything looks the same to me. You can say みんな同じに見える。みんな同じに見える。Here, instead of みんな, you can say 全部 as well. So 全部同じに見える. And this is very clear. But people might say みんな同じに見える. And here it could either mean everyone looks the same or everything looks the same. So I'm just saying this because this could happen. But generally use みんな about people and 全部 about things like objects. Okay? Alright. We've learned a lot, but this is very important because it's not easy, right? Anyway, to summarize all of this, use subete in written language. So if you're writing an essay, use subete. Otherwise, just use zenbu. Okay? And zenbu can be a noun or an adverb, but often used as an adverb, which means place zenbu in front of a verb. You say noun or zenbu verb. So I ate all the pizza. You'd say ピザを全部食べた. And if you want to say everything, adjective. Everything expensive, everything pink, everything cute. You'd say adjective もの全部. Right? Like かわいいもの全部. Everything cute. But if that thing is not an object, but rather a memory, an action, an event, you'd use こと. So, adjective こと 全部. So, 嫌なこと全部. Everything unpleasant that happened or that you saw, that you remember. You do the same with the verb. Verb もの全部. Verb こと 全部. So, everything I made, for example, you'd say 作ったもの全部. Okay? You can't get rid of this もの. Like you can't say 作った全部. You have to say 作ったもの全部. Or everything I remember, 覚えていること全部. And now when you want to talk about all the time, all my time, either use the word ずっと or て, the て form plus ばかりいる. So you spend all your time watching anime, then アニメを見てばかりいる. Or ずっとアニメを見ている. And the last thing to remember, we can also do 全 plus counter. So every episode, all the episodes, you say 全話. Every volumes like of manga, then 全巻. All the books, every book, you say 全冊. Every seat, all the seat, 全席. Every product, all the products, 全品. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've learned a lot. And this is something that most textbooks wouldn't teach you well. And it's something I've seen a lot of my students make mistakes on. Yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share this video with your fellow learners. And yeah, these videos take a long time to create, so if you could support me on Patreon or Ko-fi, I would really appreciate it, and the links are in the description box. Okay, thank you so much for watching. 見てくれてありがとうございました。じゃあまたね。バイバーイ。